If you don't care how much you earn from your consultancy, you can stop listening now. This video is not for you. But if you do care, keep watching. I have some bad news for you, but that's okay. We can handle it. We're not doom and gloom here. We just need to know the truth so that we can take action. Okay, so here's our setup. You have a solo consultancy or join some colleagues for your 2 or 3 person consultancy. One of the competitive advantages you have, right? A lot of people think this, you can charge lower fees than the big players with higher quality service, right? That's the idea. You have lower overhead, you can charge lower fees. But think again, that's not correct. Okay, so let's consider 2 scenarios here. I want to compare these. One is a 2-person consultancy. In this 2-person consultancy, we're going to win 1 project per month, and each project takes 2 months to complete. We're not going to work more than 60 hours per week, so that's 50% of our work life overtime. No more than that. And the customers will retract their work if you take more than 2 months before you're starting your work. Okay, that's scenario 1. Scenario 2, you have a 50-person consultancy. You just scale up. We're just going to scale up the wins. So instead of 1 for 2 people, you get 25 wins for 50 people. Right? It still takes 2 months to complete. And we're still not going to work more than 60 hours per week. And again, customers are going to retract their work if it takes more than 2 months before starting work. All right, so how do these compare? Well, if you look at the 2-person consultancy, we see that we have, in this area, we get an estimated 77.3% utilization. Not bad, but we're working around 40% of the time in overtime. The 50-person consultancy, in the same proportion of projects won per resource, they now have a 94% utilization. They work more overtime, 47%. 47% versus 39%, but their utilization is 94 versus 77. Okay, so the problem here is that the 2-person consultancy has a lower utilization. How does this affect the bill rates? Well, let's come back here. Let's look at this. If 77.3% utilization yields an hourly rate of $129 an hour, and if you want a 15% profit margin, you're going to be charging $148, $149 an hour. For the 50-person consultancy, they have a base hourly rate of $106 consulting. That's $106 versus $129. So your small consultancy has to charge more per hour than your large consultancy. And this is because of the reduced utilization. The result is, now if you want to increase your margin, which I highly recommend, big organizations are going to typically have around a 45% margin. So that gives us $154 an hour. For your small organization, if you want a 15% margin, you're $148, not materially different. Okay, so why is this? Well, it's because the larger organization can average the downtimes across more resources than you can. And hence they can run with a higher utilization than you can. No, we can map this out over many size consultancies. And so let's do that here. So I did that. You don't have to go through the work yourself. You can if you want. Just go to TimeCatchApp's website, look at the calculators, and you can calculate all of these on your own. But I did that for you here. Okay, so we're starting off with a 2-person consultancy and worked all the way up to a 1,000-person consultancy. And you can see the change with the same proportion of those wins to projects and everything else held exactly the same. And you can see that my utilization slowly increases here from around 77% all the way up to close to about 95% in the asymptote here. Okay, so this is your problem. You just have more variability in your process, and that you have lower utilization, which means if you want to make the same amount of money, you have to charge more. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have advantages that they don't have, and we can exploit those. So what is our solution here? There's 5 solutions I can think of right off the top, and then you may have more. feel free to put comments below. Number one, you can compete in markets that the big players cannot. Right? They are limited typically to the bigger customers. Sometimes they'll go with smaller customers, but it's not very advantageous for them money-wise. But you can do it. You can provide customized services to these very small customers. And you can even charge a premium pricing for that. Right? So that's an advantage to you. Number two, you can be more nimble. The large organizations tend not to be nimble at all. You as a solo or very small organization can be. All right, so here's an example of that. In a large organization I worked for, we wanted to set up a standardized dashboarding feature for a type of customers. It took us around a year, 1 year, just to get approval to build a dashboard. You have to go through the funding process. You have to lay out the specifications. A lot of work to go through this with big organizations. Take us a year. And then the timelines to finish were another year out. Really made the project not feasible. Meanwhile, a 5-person consulting organization that I work with has built a better dashboarding app in less than a month. Why? They have less bureaucracy. We can do more per person. They just are more nimble. They work faster. Advantage for you, especially now with the pace of change. It has gotten so fast and it's not slowing down. The big organizations having a real tough time keeping up with it. You may think, wow, they have all these resources. They should be able to do a better job. But it's not true because bureaucracy gets in the way. Okay, advantage number 3. You can use AI to accelerate the work. You have seen how fast you can build outputs using AI, and I recommend you use it, but of course, treat it as if it were a fresh intern. It will get things wrong. It will use wrong sources of data. So you need to go through the outputs carefully before releasing to the customer. Big customers and the big organizations, they can do this too, but probably not as quickly nor as well as you, a small consultancy, can. Great. Advantage number 4. You can add true experts for specialized needs. Big players, no, they have a real tough time with this. They really can't do it well. In a large consulting organization, it can take months to bring on a new expert because there are just procedures to follow. You have to bring them in. You have to bring them into their payment processes. They have to give them SOPs. It can be a slow process. And this is really a last resort for them. Their business model is doing everything in-house. So bringing on that extra university professor, they have a hard time doing that. But you can do that. You're small. You're nimble. You have none of this bureaucracy. Bring on the specialized talent you need. You can package them up and present them. In fact, you can bring them on board to your organization and take their time and invoice it to the client very easily in TimeCatchApp. And that is one of the features that we work very hard to make it really easy for you to do that. And then finally, you build your organization with a loose network. I highly recommend this, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to build your bigger organization so that you actually are presenting to the world as a bigger organization. You're a 2, 3, 1-person organization. But with a modern technology like TimeCatchApp, you can have all sorts of people in your organization. They're individual contributors. They are leaders in different aspects, and university professors. You can present these as your organization, much bigger model. And now what you've done is you have changed the model from you having a disadvantage to you having an advantage because you are averaging across a larger group of people. That reduces your variability problem, but you're not carrying the cost that the bigger organizations have. Advantage number 5, build your organization with a loose network. This is the future of work, and you just as well be one of those leaders here, right? TimeCatchApp allows you to add people to your organization really easily. You can just add them in, and you can build up a large organization that you can present to your customers. They can be individuals who actually work in your organization. They can be independent consultants that occasionally appear. But you now get the benefits of scale without the cost. You have a network of consultants. Your network can be at each other's organization, available at any time. So now everybody has this large organization they can present to the clients. I'll give you an example of this, of an organization we work with. It's a small group of about 5 people, the same one as above, but they have a network of over 30 consultants they rely on. These are the best in class in their various different areas. Each one can take on work for the other clients. Each one can present work to the clients, and they're all available when needed. You have now closed a huge advantage, and you even have a leg up because you have a lower fixed costs. And before I wrap up, I'd like to make an offer for us here, trying to make life easier for consultants. If you would like to get access to our book, Quick Start Consultant Metrics Handbook, you can get a free ebook version of this for signing up for your free account at TimeCatchApp, and we will send you a link to the ebook. Or if you prefer, you can just buy it, ebook or hard copy, on Amazon. All right, in summary, you cannot win on price unless you're willing to work for less money. But you can turn that around and make even more if you leverage the advantages you have. TimeCatchApp is here to support you. If you have any specific needs, we might be able to create a custom solution just for you. Simply ask. We would love to hear from you. Happy time catching.